Do you think jump scares are cheap tricks, right? There are two ways to develop a jump scare. If you just play like a loud noise, it sucks. It's not a good jump scare. I really dislike scenes that just play a loud noise to fuck with you, right? That ain't it. But there are other scenes that like there's a jump scare, but they are developed in a way that it adds so much to the film, right? Beyond it just being loud. One that I always quote as like, I'll say, I think it's kind of like one of the fathers of the modern jump scare, but done very well, is a movie that a lot of people don't like. Exorcist III, I think, has one of the best jump scares I've ever seen. Here, take a look quickly. It's a jump scare, but it's like, it's so of the theme of the movie. And I love the way that they develop it. And I love like the headless Jesus. There's a much longer runway up to that. That hallway scene is like a full 5 minutes long. I don't know. I think that there are movies I have seen recently that are just like the entire film relies on a series of jump scares. If your entire film just relies on a series of like, it gets very tiresome. And there are a lot of recent movies that do that. But like when you use it like a spice instead of like the core of your project, I think it can be very satisfying. Again, I think the jump scares are cheap. Thought process goes into a lot of very generic horror films that have been made recently that ultimately rely very heavily on like loud noise. I think Signs did one of the best jump scares with the simple. Yeah, dude. Signs has a lot of really good jump scares. Signs has one of my favorite scares of all time when they have the footage of like the bird hitting something invisibly. That always sticks with me. They're just good scares. They're just scares that like live with you. I could maybe make a list one day of like some of my favorite scares in film history. Best jump scare of all time. So yeah, I this is actually really fucking interesting. The Mullholland Drive scene. I've said that Lynch, I don't particularly care for Lynch, but Lynch is the master of tension. And this scene is kind of like his masterwork. Yeah, so if you've never seen this, this is like the trash man. I don't want to watch the entire thing right now. But this scene is simultaneously why I like and dislike Lynch in a very neatly packaged way. The scene is amazing. The scene is incredible. It's one of my favorite tense scenes ever, and it's amazingly well done. It'll traumatize you. Unfortunately, it has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the film. It has no deeper meaning. It is just thrown in there to fuck you in the ass halfway through a movie that has no other reason to be there other than to fuck you up. Yeah, it's kind of his genius and his madness simultaneously. It's what makes him a very frustrating filmmaker for me. But yeah, I do not doubt and I do not denigrate that I think this is one of the most tense scenes ever made. Except for the light. If you've never made it, watched it. I don't want to watch the whole fucking 5 minute thing, but it's great. It's incredible. We've watched it many times. Well, do you ever get bad feelings after a scary, disturbing movie? If so, how do you chase those away? Bad feelings? I mean, I'm scared after a scary movie. It depends on the type of horror, right? A horror movie like the one we just watched, no, I won't feel bad. I'll feel scared, which ultimately can help with depression or like being out of body or not being able to focus. Fear is a great motivator. Fear is a great way to kind of get back into your skin. So after a movie like that we just watched, I think I wouldn't feel any kind of lingering traumatic effects.